Hey everyone, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. I am doing this stream because there has been so much going on, and so before we get started, I just want to say hello. This is going to be a stream that has a lot of receipts, a lot of evidence, and my entire side of the story. And before I do anything, I need to put on some lip gloss because my lips are super dry. Sorry. I was so late putting together, I was getting late, too late putting all the evidence together. So, anyways, welcome to my channel if you are brand new. If you are not new, welcome back to my channel. This will be a members only chat because this is going to be a topic that is not, will tend to bring in a lot of people that are haters, and I just don't want to be distracted. I mean, the haters can likely pay if they want to, but ultimately, if you are a hater and you do pay to become a member, we're just going to remove you anyway. So we want to keep this moving and positive. I don't want like hate in the chat. I want you guys to be kind to one another. Before I even start anything, I want to make the caveat that this video is not to harass or to target any single person that's involved in this. It's also not to, I ask all of you not to bully the people that are involved in this as well. Because I know what it's like to be targeted after what I went through, and I don't want other people to feel that way either. Okay, so in December, on December 4th, I was accused of something really big. This is what, while I was on live around in the afternoon of December 4th, some people in my chat, while I was on a live stream, start coming into my live and they start like talking about these screenshots about how I was super insensitive and said these really mean things about the death of a little boy of another creator's sister. So Leslie Bass's sister lost her son, and these people were saying that I had said these very insensitive things about a child. Now, I was like dumbfounded because A, I had spoken to her sister only the day before and offered my condolences, and B, had said that I would, offer my condolences publicly and just remind people not to be, like to just drop the drama. We had had some drama before. She had accused me of shutting down her channel, which isn't true. To this day, she's still never provided any evidence that I've done that. She claims that I had she had a community guideline strike, which she never did. And there's this whole big thing that was happening. We squashed the drama. And then as soon as it was squashed, somehow, suddenly, someone needed to get these magical screenshots to Leslie to prove that I was a nasty person, to prove that I didn't mean to offer my condolences, which, because, why wouldn't you offer condolences to someone who you thought was your friend, who's lost a nephew and who's lost a son? Yeah, I mean, that's what you do. It's horrible. It's tragic. My son is medically fragile. I would automatically, no parent wants to lose a child. So after people start talking about these screenshots, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So they're like, well, it's on Unveiling the Mask. Well, it's on this channel. It's called Unveiling the Mask of Katie Joyless. This is my former moderator, Kim. She doesn't like me, and she has this obsession with exposing my manipulation and lies, even though I don't like this channel. I don't flag her content because she's allowed to have an opinion. And even if I don't like the criticism, she's allowed to have criticism of me. Not everyone's going to like me. And despite everything I've attempted to do with her, I've tried to squash things with her. I've tried to work things out. She doesn't want to speak with me. She has her mind made up. So she had been using this channel to spread rumors about me. And she posted this, which says, Katie Joy's response to learning of the passing of LB's nephew. Are these screenshots fake? So that's what I woke up to. That's sort of what I walked into. And the screenshots were terrible. I'm not going to show you guys them because it doesn't matter. It literally does not matter what they said. They were horrible. I would never say them. They were fake. Basically insinuating that I was happy this little baby died. Never, ever would I say that. No mother would ever say that. So I'm like, what the F? Well, you guys, this has been Unirock and I have sort of debunked these screenshots. They're not real. They aren't real. They're fake. The person who's on the other end of these screenshots has never come forward. So apparently I have a conversation with somebody in the middle of, on Facebook, who has never said who they are For what reason, I don't know, because, oh, they're not real. So we had all about squashed it. But then yesterday, Kim, on unveiling the mask, she posts this, and then I was like, I need to think about this. So she then posts this, which basically says that on November 5th, blah, 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 a person, M, a friend of Leslie Bass, reached out to me through the comments section of one of my videos. We began speaking through email and then by text on December 3rd. M sent me a text saying that if I'd heard of the passing of Leslie's nephew. I said I had. She asked if I wanted to hear something horrible that Katie Joy Paulson had said about the baby's passing. I said sure. She then explained to me that Katie had said during a conversation with another party who we call X, M claimed that this conversation Katie Joy said good that the child was dead. I asked who person X was. M explained that it was someone that had been talking to Katie for a while, a member of Katie's crew. This person doesn't like Katie, but has remained a supporter and speaks with Katie often. M told me that X was afraid to come forward and it had been a private conversation between Katie and X. And if the screenshots of the conversation were released, Katie would obviously know who had done it. Okay, I still don't know who did it though, X. Who are you, X? Oh, it didn't happen. Okay, sorry, that was just my sarcasm. M told me that she had gotten very concerned about the nature of Katie in this regard. Katie was actively posting sympathy for the death of the child. M told me she found this disgusting and reprehensible and a deliberate exploitation of this tragedy. Why are you exploiting something when you're literally offering condolences to someone who you had considered a friend only a few weeks ago and you are sad for them? That's like, there's nothing wrong with offering your condolences. I literally thought Leslie was my friend. Anyways, I asked if she could get me screenshots of the conversation. She agreed, and we had our first conversation by phone where she told me her real name, and then she sent me the screenshots. Once I had them, we decided it would be best to send them to Leslie and let her decide what to do. Once M told me that she had sent them to Leslie, I asked if I could share them with Steve McCrae in the hopes of getting an unbiased and independent opinion. That was your first problem, Kim. Nothing's unbiased about Steve. Anyways, M agreed, but on the condition that her name be kept out of it. She is insistent that I tell nobody the source of the screenshots, only that she's gotten them from a middleman M who got them from the original source X. I agreed, but with the caveat that if something went wrong, I would not take the fall. I was simply passing the information forward. I told her that I would protect her as long as I could, but that if things went badly, I would expect her to stand by me and to help. She agreed. I said that if she'd failed to do so, I would have name who she is. She said she understood and she sent me the screenshots. Em and I spoke with Leslie and she said she wanted to go public with the screenshots after the funeral. Afterwards, I joined a hangout with Steve and several others to discuss the best way to go public with the information. We agreed we could not go public with it until we were verified and we understood and knew for a fact that they were true. Oh, that's so funny. Now they care about verification. Now they care about verification when they literally didn't care about verification before. I would release a video on my channel and Steve would discuss it on his and we would do it without monetization. Yeah, right. The next day I made a video. I uploaded it with my intent of making it private so that I could share it to Leslie, Steve, M, and others for helping me verify the DM's authenticity. First of all, I have to say this, Kim. I don't know how much you know about YouTube, but if a video is private, the only person that can see it is you. If you want to share it privately, you have to put it unlisted. So your explanation here doesn't make sense, but I digress. Shortly after uploading it, I got a text from Leslie asking if I intended to make the video public. I said no. She informed me that the video was in fact public and I had failed to correctly set the private flag on the video. She informed me that by this point it had already been seen 50 views. And I hang out with Steve and in consultation with Leslie, we decided what we had to do from here. The video had already released ahead of schedule and people had already seen it and maybe even downloaded it. We decided that since it was already released, there would be no point in holding back and might even be accused of trying to hide something if we pulled it. We decided to go ahead with with the plan, even though the DMs were not yet verified. So they literally admit they don't have any verification of these. They literally don't even know who X is, but they're still gonna like release this. What kind of ding dongs do this kind of stuff? Only people that know nothing about like being truthful or, you know, not putting out fake information. I mean, this is literally the definition of fake news, but I digress. And oh, by the way, Kim has I think Kim has a video called I Digress or some bull crap on her channel. Anyways, shortly thereafter, a number of the parties became interested in this, and the DMs and their authenticity came under scrutiny. Duh! Unirock in particular began to question their authenticity and even suggested that that I was M myself, or even, or that, I told M that things were becoming very difficult. Being asked questions about the DM I could not answer, and the other people were beginning to accuse me of having faked them. Entire shows were being made about me, saying that I was out to destroy Katie's life. I asked M for help. Well, Kim, what are you trying to do with your channel? Your whole channel is literally designed to destroy my life. So it kind of feels like that's true. But that's just my opinion, and that's my criticism of a channel that's literally designed to kind of harass me. So I think people see your channel, being that you talk about no one else, and at this point on January 8th, 10th, it's actually against YouTube guidelines to have a channel like yours where you only target one person. So you really should consider your what's on your channel, Kim, if you want to continue forward, because you are probably monetized now, and I would hate for you to lose that. So maybe you should diversify your content. She simply suggested that being in public was easier than having an answer to Matt Bear for what was going on. I do not know Matt Bear's involvement, but that's the first I'd heard of him mentioned in that context. I reminded her that he agreed if things became too difficult, she would have to come out and identify herself to protect me, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, she does not DMs, like, she says, well, I obviously do not like Katie. If these DMs are fake, we all owe her an apology. You think? We cannot allow her to be accused of something she did not do. Huh. Maybe you should have thought about that before you released the screenshots. Oh. And I'm doing this for Kim, by the way. I'm literally doing this for Kim. So in the one breath, I'm trying to help Kim, but in the other breath, I'm so frustrated with Kim. So I can still be frustrated with someone and still want to help them. That's the kind of person I am. Anyways. Basically, she says that person M's name is Lori Pavolo, and she says that in reviewing DMs with her, she found a number of apparent inconsistencies. For example, Lori has referenced how long X has known Katie several different times, but it seems to vary from 8 months to years. Lori has been unwilling to cooperate to identify X or to help me verify the DMs. I'm beginning to seriously question if these DMs are real. Now you are. There are many things I don't like about Katie Joy, but these are real things, and I don't need to make up things. I'm not going to. If these DMs aren't real, we have to find out if they aren't real, and I apologize to the community. And then apparently the person Lori was using the alias Chris Bowman on YouTube. So did you hear all that word salad? Did you hear all that word salad? Hold on one second. So I have another little thing that I want to also show you here. I just got permission from the person that shared it with me that I can share it with you. So I had to answer a text message. So there's been a lot of conspiracies about, who is person X. Well, today I've been saying to you guys for a long time that people have been trying to interfere with my sources. Like seriously interfere with my sources and interfere with people that I've established relationships with. By now, if you watch this channel, you know that I have established a relationship with Andrew Glennon and his family. And since since we've had a lot going on recently with since we haven't been releasing a lot of information and stuff, I periodically will check in with Andrew just to see how he's doing, get some, if, just to check in, like he's someone I've gotten to know, and I've gotten to know his family, and I just want to make sure he's doing okay. Well, today I just have to show you this because he told me just now that I can share this. So I'm going to show you this. I've told you repeatedly that people are trying to interfere with my sources and affect my ability to have relationships with people. One of the things that they have said repeatedly is that I told Andrew Glennon not to have a relationship with Leslie. That never happened. He told me he blocked her because he didn't like her angle. I asked him one day, I said, did you tell someone I told you to block Leslie? And he's like, no. And I said, well, I never told you to block Leslie. And he said, I know. So tonight he actually sends me this message. Hold on a second. So this was I just got a text message earlier tonight from Andrew, and this is actually someone trying to message him. Yep, that's sipping tea with Dum Dum on there. This is the lengths these people go to. And she's telling him, and as you can notice, he's not responding to her, and she just keeps messaging him. I'm so disappointed after all she's done that you clearly see her see on her social media saying good to a baby dying or too bad. I think it's so sad because now everyone kind of not believing you. No one all from who you still giving info to. What? She makes no sense. I think it's sad because now everyone kind of not believing you no more. All from who you still giving info to. So she's telling Andrew that nobody believes her because you're giving information to Katie because Joe wants Leslie to get this information. So she's trying to plant seeds in Andrew's head that I am somehow unworthy of the information that he is giving me. And she says, I pray you never ever go through what Flossie has to a loss at a baby nearly 3 years old, but that's the kind of you want to be associated with. God, she cannot write. I pray you never go through what Flossie has to a loss a baby nearly 3 years old, but that's the kind of person you want to be associated with. Could you please learn punctuation, Joe? This is really bad grammar. No, not okay, disgusting, okay? Hey, I just wanted to let you know something. I've proof that you're person X, and those screenshots was yours and Katie's convo. I have all the proof and wondering if you want to add anything before I go live. You notice how many messages she has where he is literally not responding and she is still trying to reach out to him? What? Ding dong. What are you doing? You're crazy to reach out to this guy. Anyways, Andrew sends me that text and he was like, who the hell is this? And I was like, I said, oh, that's not true. And I said, that person is crazy. And he says, she looks insane. And that's it. He also knows, Andrew also knows, because he has a relationship with Janelle, that somebody sent her fake screenshots that implicated me saying nasty things about her in relation to David and calling David a good guy, as well as calling David or calling Cortland like a good person and like mocking her, which never happened again. So the screenshots go to Janelle about a week before the fake ones get over here. So could Lori Povolo have sent fake screenshots then to also to Janelle? Because Janelle cut off contact with me because they again were mad that Leslie didn't have this like connection. They wanted Leslie to have all these connections, apparently. Now I don't know if these are people that are acting on Leslie's behalf or Leslie's asking people to do this, but this is like ridiculous. If you want a source, all you have to do is establish a relationship. It's not that hard. And to this day, I respect Andrew. I don't tell things, like I don't even tell people half the crap I know, because over the course of several months, I've established a rapport with him. He trusts me. He believes that I will not like lie about him. There you go. That's how you build relationships. You just respect and like go with whatever your source tells you is okay to say, okay? But instead of doing what they should be doing and just like trying to talk to him, instead they're just trying to like, interfere. Anyways, so back to the screenshots. So you guys, Andrew and I apparently fabricated these screenshots, even though I'm not even Facebook friends with Andrew Glennon. Anyways, so then when I hear about this, when I see what Kim did on Facebook or on her in our community post, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to put these out there because I want Kim to know why we came to this conclusion. One, Kim, you released them on your channel. That makes you the suspect number one. If you put out a screenshot and you don't have proof of who wrote them, you can't say who the other person is, and you put them on your channel, people are automatically going to think you did it. Plus, your whole entire channel is a hate channel against me. Again, I don't care if that's what you do, but I really think you should reconsider it so that you don't get demonetized and you don't lose your channel. So when I saw Kim saying that she did not, Leslie was still not clearing her name, and she's asking Leslie to clear her name, I was like, you know what? I'm going to show Kim proof that Leslie literally never told me. Because what Leslie said on her live stream last night on Instagram, she said that she told me that Kim was not person M. And that's not true at all. Because I asked her, so during our conversation on text, and I'm going to show you the whole clip of it, but I'm just going to show you some screenshots here. And then I took a video screen of it so you know I'm not lying. And I said, can you please tell me who gave you those messages? Was it Matt or Kim? Matt being her moderator, Schizo and Stereo, or Kim, because those two literally hate me. And she said, no, neither of them. I told Matt about it. Kim was told by someone else. So there you go. She never told me that Kim was not person M. She just said Kim was told by someone else. That's very ambiguous. And I said, so who sent them to you? Because I'd like to know who the person is I allegedly had this conversation with. And she says, I've contacted the person that has sent them to me to see if I can at least release her name. And I said, so someone who didn't even have the alleged conversation with me gave them to you and never told you who I was talking to, and the people believe they are real. This is insane. So Lori apparently gives her these screenshots, but doesn't tell her who I'm talking to, and they all believe it. Are you crazy? I mean, that literally sounds nuts, right? If you think about it. And I said, I think he was told after I was. I don't know who she's talking about there. And a lot of people knew before I did. Again, she's trying to disconnect that she didn't know about this from the beginning, even though she was one of the first people to know about these screenshots, as according to Kim. Kim says that Lori reached out to her, and then she reached out and Lori talked to Leslie. So that's not true. Right on its face, she's lying to me. And I said, okay, it's telling that more than 24 hours later, the person I allegedly talked to still hasn't come forward because they aren't real. Okay? So at one point, I noticed that Leslie, even though I kept telling her that they were fake, she continued to talk about it on Twitter as though they were real. Even though I'm literally messaging her saying they're not real. And we're having this back and forth, and she's actually being I feel like she's listening to me, not realizing that she's going on Twitter and talking shit about me, okay? And I said, I saw you tweeted, and I know you probably received those messages from someone, but I assure you they are fake. Who did I supposedly even talk to? There is a group on Twitter that has been attempting to hack into my accounts. They got into my account yesterday. They changed my links on my profile. They have sent fake screenshots to you and to Janelle Evans, because at this point, I believed that they were the same people. I don't know if they're the same people. And at the time, I believed it was Rue, who is that part of the Hatters, those crazy, really mean Twitter trolls that hate the teen moms but love the teen moms. They stalk them and they're obsessive fans. Anyways, Rue was the one that was leaking all that stuff about Janelle. And because I outed Rue as not having a relationship with Janelle, because I was told by Janelle she didn't have a relationship with her, And then someone confronted her about that, and then she got in trouble. Yeah, that's right. That's really what happened. It was like within a day of me outing Rue that suddenly she has these screenshots in her hands that say that I'm saying all these shit things about her. So they ruin my relationship with Janelle to get back at me. So I still don't know who sent those ones to Janelle, whether it was the same person that made these ones or if it was Rue. I don't know. But at the time, I believed it was Rue. And I said, but it's true. You said, you don't have to believe me, but it's true. Thank you for sharing the info about the funeral home. Continuing to think of you. Whoever made those screenshots is putting unnecessary stress on you and Crystal during a very difficult time. And she said, I hate to even address this, but someone said Brittany faked those. I do know that Brittany did not know about them until I told her. So I don't want her being accused of faking something like that. I've tried to stay out of it and not respond to it. Britt called upset because this fake Rue account is accusing her of making them and leaking them when I personally know that not to be true. So I just want people to know that. I agree if someone faked those, it's sick. So she's telling me and making me believe that she might believe these are fake, but then on Twitter she's saying the exact opposite. And she said, I can tell you that it's a group of women on Facebook. And anyways, then I go into more depth and I'm trying to show her in detail what is going on, how I learned, to prove to her I did not write these. I got so transparent with her and I said, she talked about me deactivating my messenger and she said, so you can still get into your messages though? It still shows them? Because I deactivated my account after these screenshots went live because I was getting relentlessly harassed and my personal Facebook page, which is not connected to my business, was out for everyone to see. And I didn't want people to start messaging me. I was getting messages. I was getting tons of friend requests. I just deactivated it. And I said, so then I sent her a message from my moderator, Renee, who said, at these people saying that you're deleting your Facebook is proof I'm confused because my message history with you is still there here despite your profile being gone. Feel free to share this. Just black out my info, please. And I said, this was sent by a friend. And I said, I'm still able to message. And then I showed her my message history of all the people that I talked to the previous day. On that day, and this happened the next day. So you can see Jesse Barry Bahari, that's Jess in the chat, my moderator. Scott, which is Scarlett, Brittany Campbell, a former moderator, Sandra, a former moderator, and Suzanne. Now, those, on the day of that this supposedly happened, I spoke to Suzanne, who is my former colleague at Patheos, and we talked about the Duggars. I talked to Sandra because she decided, we were talking about something to do with Matt accusing her of stalking her. And then also she decided to open up a GoFundMe for Flossie without talking to Flossie about it. And I told her it was a terrible idea. Brittany was coming to apologize to me for being such a wagon follower and telling me that Brittany Smith is like making all of the moderators jump ship and talk to Steve. And then my last conversation with her, she was literally apologizing to me. And Scarlett, I don't remember even what we talked about, but that happened the day after, so it wouldn't be part of it. And then Jesse and I don't talk like that. So it's just not even feasible. Jesse can attest that she did not talk to that. Now there's a rumor going on that Jesse is the person X. No, absolutely not. Jesse is not person X. All right. Then I say I found out about Abraham's death from Matt, and I show her what he said. Hey, you should probably know. You can see that he sent the messages to me twice because I didn't respond to him. So he sent it to me once and I didn't respond to him, and then he sent it to me again. And I was mad at him and I didn't know if I could believe him. And after he sent it to me again, this is on was this on Thanksgiving? No, it was on December 3rd. All I know is I was like running out the door. I was like, didn't know if I could believe him. I'd literally been spending all of my time with Sandra because she said that Matt tried to borrow $2,000 from her and he was telling her that his car was going to get repossessed and he needed all this cash, and she was sending me all these emails. So I was angry at him. In our last conversation, I told him he was a liar and I didn't believe anything he said to me at this point. So I literally was not sure if he was telling me the truth. So I said, that's too bad. I'm thinking of her. Mostly because I didn't know if he was telling the truth. Matt lies about a lot of stuff. I wasn't sure. But because I wasn't sure, I then I show Leslie that I reached out to Sandra. Now I asked Sandra because I knew that Sandra would know because she was friends with Leslie. And I said, hi there, can you tell me if Crystal's son passed away? And she says, yes. Well, refused to believe me. Refused. I told everyone that reached out to me that these were not real, that these were fake, that I opened up my messenger to them. They didn't care. I even showed her this. One of my subscribers created a video to show people how easy it is to fake messages. Hold on. And my subscriber said, here, I found an app where you can make these for these fake after all this blew up. Why don't you put this on your Twitter and show people how easy it is? Because people were saying it's impossible to fake screenshots. So this person made this video for me. And I sent this to Leslie, showing her that it's not impossible to make fake screenshots. You can even change the date and time of when it happened, the day it was sent, the time it was sent. Like, it's an app you can use. So it's like not hard to fake these screenshots. And we Googled and we found numerous apps where you can fake these. And I showed this to her and I said, these are apps that you can make these fake screenshots. Like, it's not hard. Or someone can set up a dummy account on Facebook. They can use my profile picture. They can put their name temporarily as mine and then have a conversation with a friend to make it appear real. There's lots of ways to fake screenshots. It doesn't mean they're real. So after all of this, Leslie has been adamant that she did not tell us that Kim. So why did I think Kim was it? Well, first, Leslie did not tell me that Kim was not person M. She just said that she didn't get them from Kim. But then this came to me, and this was from Brittany, a conversation between Leslie and Brittany. And she says, I'm going to send you some screenshots. You just don't say anything because I don't want Flossie to know about this. Okay. And then she sends the screenshots to her, and you can see part of the conversation is blacked out. That's not the screenshots we saw. This isn't what was released. Why did they look like this? And she asks about it, and she says that it's a conversation that doesn't pertain to it. That's so weird to me. Like, it doesn't even make sense. So she tells Brittany that if she hasn't talked to Kim yet, which again makes me believe that Kim is the source of these emails or these screenshots. And again, makes me believe that Kim, since she released them accidentally on her channel, suddenly had these. Like, so many things were pointing to Kim in every single direction that it was Kim. She doesn't like me. Leslie's saying that Kim has them, but she won't say how Kim got them. She'll just say that she didn't get them from Kim. That doesn't mean that Kim didn't make them. Doesn't mean that she's not person M. Also doesn't mean that a lot of things. So we assumed through a lot of deductive reason, we saw a ton more of these, that Kim was person M. And Leslie claims she told me that she was not person M. That never happened. Anyways, here's me showing you and proving to you why I didn't believe Matt, since everyone is like, why were you so insensitive in that response to Matt? Because the night before, I was proving to him in a DM that Sandra, I said, are you still talking to Matt? Because Matt is saying that you stalked him. Matt is telling me that you stalked him. And then she's like, no, here, he sent me this email. And Matt's response to Sandra was, stalk me? Nobody's stalking me. Shit is so out of hand. It's ridiculous. Hope you're having a good night. And I said, you are a liar. I'm done. You are causing this chaos. And he said, I said she stalked me? And I said, yes. I said she lied about me. She spoke to my ex. And you are the one who caused this, not me. I've been getting killed for 2 days for defending you and getting bombarded with nothing but shit you supposedly have said about me and everyone else. I tried desperately to end this ridiculous war, but neither of you could have stopped, and now look at what happened. And I said, Sandra said you asked her for a ton of money. Because literally what he said up here was all garbage. It wasn't relevant. He's trying to spin things. And he said, Sandra is full of shit. Oh, I didn't want to say, oh, and didn't you say Sandra was crazy? I'm pretty sure you said that several times. She said she was also killing you on Steve's live tonight. Did she tell you that? And I said, Matt, my head hurts. I'm going to bed. She's sending me screenshots. And then she did. She sent me all the screenshots of Matt literally asking her for money, telling him that he has a repo. I don't think I have those screenshots. I couldn't find them tonight. If I find them, I'll share them with you. And he said, let her send whatever she wants. I have the actual screenshots, LOL. My head hurts too. I just remember one thing. I'm getting killed. So it's all about Matt. If Matt doesn't want to be in the middle of things, he certainly doesn't want to, like, he always finds his way in the middle of things. Just like now he's in the middle of things with Lori Pavolo. Whatever. So then, before all of this screenshot stuff happened, I tried to reach out to Flossie shortly after Leslie accused me of shutting her channel down to prove to her that Matt was playing both sides. Leslie had said on her channel that it was ridiculous for me to call the cops related to Amber Portwood's threats. And Matt agreed. Matt's like, I can't believe she called the cops. Like, that those weren't threats. But then I sent Flossie the screenshot where he clearly says, I said, I talked to the prosecutor. Oh, wow, what did you say? And I said, she was concerned. She said she told me to file a police report if I feel unsafe, and will send me everything. Everything I have to another. And will send me everything I have that Amber has said to the probation officer. And he said, you should file a police report. You were threatened. That's what Matt literally told me. And I said, Matt has been lying to all of us. He told me to file a police report. I'm sorry I said your name. I removed it. Good luck. So on the day that everything happens with the death, I say, I'm so sorry for your loss. Please know I'm thinking of you during this very difficult time. Thank you, Katie. And I said, no matter what this garbage is and pettiness is, we are both mothers, and losing a child is a pain that no mother should ever experience. You did everything you could, and he was blessed to have you fighting for him. And she said, you're right, and I appreciate you reaching out. No one should ever experience this kind of pain. My heart will never be the same. And then I said, I'll keep you in my thoughts. So... And then back to Leslie, she's contacting Brittany saying, let me know when you're up if you haven't heard from Kim, which is, again, another reason why I thought Kim was person M. If you haven't heard from Kim, well, why would you need to hear from Kim? Where did the screenshots come from? I'm led to believe they came from Kim. So she's going to send the screenshots, blah, 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 blah. They're pissed off about it. Then Kim. Oh, and then Brittany sends me stuff from Kim. And Kim is like mad at Brittany. And she says, I want to say as nicely as possible that it absolutely did make me angry that you mentioned my name in the live stream, where she said that Kim was probably person M. In my opinion, it sounded as though you were implying that it wasn't a mistake that I released the video. It was a horrible error on my part, and trust me, I've been paying for it in many ways. If you've been paying for it, Kim, why is it still on your channel? Take it down. Whose name has been, like, hurt more than anyone in this? Me. In terms of these screenshots. In terms of, like, what it's done to me. Okay? There's still people on the interweb that think these are real and hate me before it. Okay? I was sure my name was going to come out, but not in that way. Uni and Steve had been very careful not to mention my name or my channel name, but then you outed me. I was shocked when I went back and listened to that portion of the show. I hope that in the future you'll be careful when you're on a live stream. I've ignored your attempts to reach out as I had to process this. And that's it. Okay? So Kim won't say, Kim outs Lori. Leslie tells me that it's not Kim who she got him from, but she doesn't call Kim not person M. So Leslie straight up lied last night when she said she told me that Kim was not, or that Kim wasn't person M. She never told me that. She also said that what else did she say last? Oh, there were so many lies last night. So, what else did I have to show you? Oh. So I just want to show you this quick. This is just a screenshot. This is just a video thing, so you can see that the conversation I had with Leslie is real. I promise you. So you can see that those are real, okay? So this is where we're at. Apparently I will remove those parts when I re-upload. Anyways, here we go. So Leslie she lied about her not telling me about person M. She literally says that Brittany didn't fake them, never once clears Kim's name. She admits to Brittany that Kim has them. So there's so many implications that Kim was the creator of these screenshots or the originer or person M. And to this day, they've never said who person X is because person X doesn't exist. And this conversation never happened. And now they're like spinning and spinning and spinning. And apparently I accidentally showed Leslie a phone number on here and Leslie's mad. You know what? At this point, I don't even know what to say anymore. Every time I try to do something, someone gets angry. Leslie sat on an Instagram live last night and literally bashed me and badmouthed me and said that she wasn't badmouthing me and wasn't bashing me, but yet she was. And I'm seriously just telling you, she's lied to you repeatedly. I've given you everything. She provided you no proof. And all of this is a smoke screen because she won't show you her dashboard. The real thing here is that Leslie accused me of that was the other thing she admitted on her live stream last night. She admitted that Lori told her the reason why she gave her those screenshots was because they were upset that Leslie and I made up. And they wanted Leslie to know what a terrible person I was, and they needed to see these screenshots, which was my hypothesis the whole time. Whoever sent those screenshots was angry that the drama was dying, was frustrated that we were going to make up, did not want Leslie and I to make up and squash it. So instead what they did was they created more drama to make and fuel more hatred. And so what I told Leslie all along was that trolls were interfering in our friendship, that Steve was going to take down her channel and ruin her career, and that by being infested with trolls was going to ruin her channel. I tried to tell her that multiple times. She would not listen. To this day, she still does not listen. She has said repeatedly that we'll never be friends. Oh yeah, 100%. We'll never be friends again. But I'm pretty tired of this lobbying accusation. Since then, Leslie has accused me of potentially planting drugs in her car for an arrest she had. And if that wasn't the case, it was maybe that I tipped off police to pull her over, which then resulted in her arrest. She's had so many inconsistencies, so many lies, that the truth is when someone is trying to out someone else as a liar constantly, maybe the person that's trying to point the finger at the other person is the one that's doing the lying. Who benefited from all of this? Leslie. Who benefited from claiming and using my name to say that her channel went down? Leslie. At the time, my channel was 3 times larger than hers. Who benefited by getting a fundraiser that raised over $1,000 on the premise that I stole Christmas from 6 kids? Leslie, not me. And then using my name for clout to get more people to watch it. It's ridiculous. So I'm really tired of having this conversation, but I don't want Kim to be dragged if Kim didn't create these screenshots and if Kim did not, I have problems with what Kim did here, but I will not drag her unnecessarily and accuse her of being person M if it's not person M. And if it is Lori, then she's the one that we should be angry with. And if it is Lori, then it's my gut feeling that Lori created these, because person X isn't real. And Joe is now saying that Andrew is person X. That's how desperate these people are to make these screenshots real. So any more discussion about these screenshots, I'm not entertaining. I'm simply done with this. Leslie, who says that she wants to be done with this and says she's on a break, continues to come onto social media to fuel it. And if you want to really have a break, Leslie, get offline. Seriously, get offline. And don't think that you'll come back on YouTube and pretend like nothing happened if you don't show your dashboard. People don't give a flying rat's butt about these screenshots. No one that supports me believes that they're real. Only the small, echo chamber that still supports you believes it. Everyone else believes they're fake and knows they're fake. What people do care about is the dashboard. They believe that you've lied to them. They believe that you have created hysteria against me. They believe that you weren't ever down and stole money from the community based on a lie. And all you have to do is show your dashboard, which shows if you have a strike. We know you don't have a community guideline strike. UniRock has proved it. I have proved it. We know it's not there because the video stayed up. And channels don't go under review or anything for mass flagging. It doesn't happen. So you either had a strike or you don't. Show your dashboard. All this other talk you're doing, Leslie, it's roundabout circles to explain away a lie that you don't want to talk about. But the community isn't going to forget this. I'm going to forget this. I'm going to move on. I want you to get with the truth. Get right with yourself. Figure out why you keep lying about everything, why you're doing all of these things. I don't need you to text me now after ignoring my texts for weeks because you're mad that your phone number showed up. Maybe you could have responded to me weeks ago when I tried to talk to you about this. But no, now you're mad at me and you're going to use this as another excuse for why I'm an asshole. No, you're the one that has continued to go live when I've literally reached out to you and tried to talk to you and you won't talk to me. You won't try to settle this behind the scenes. And because of that, this is my only method of clearing my name. And I will not let you drag my name down. I don't believe you created these screenshots, UniRock, and I've never have believed that you created the screenshots. At one time, did it get brought up that you maybe could have? We debated it, but then we quickly realized that no, it's not possible. We also realized that you probably were used. We think that people were manipulating you at a very vulnerable time in your life. And if that's the case, I'm really sorry that people did this to you. That's so crappy. But at the end of the day, the only way anyone is going to move on here is not by further trying to drag me down and calling me a shitty person, but rather for you to admit what you did, own up to the fact that you maybe made a mistake, you falsely accused me of taking down your channel, and then you took money under a false pretense. I know you can't admit that though, because you probably don't have the money anymore. But what you and Steve did is eventually you perpetrated a fraud on the community, and the community cares about that fraud. And if you don't like it, I'm not your problem. You need to look in the mirror. So, she did. She just texted me right now about this current live, but she has ignored me for weeks. I have tried to talk to her privately. She ignores me. She doesn't respond to my texts. But she texts me now. All right, you guys. So that's all I have. This is what I've got. I don't know what you're thinking, but this is my truth. And if you don't believe me at this point, there's nothing I can say at this point. But my life has been, my child's life has been dragged through the mud. I have been dragged through the mud. I have been accused of abusing my child. I have been dragged through the mud. I have had court records of mine brought out by her side. I have had so much crap put out by her side that it's like comical that me accidentally putting up a phone number will get me a text message. But when I reach out to her and say, why are you guys doing this? It's not like, it's like, oh, I didn't read it. It's not, or it was read and never responded to. All right. Next time, Leslie, just show your damn dashboard. I didn't make the screenshots. And anyone that believes otherwise, you can sink on the ship that is the sinking Leslie and Steve. Bye.